Senator Patterson.
Thank you, Madam President. My question is for the Minister representing the Minister for Home Affairs, Senator Watt. From the 28th of October 2023, the ACT will decriminalise the possession of small amounts of the most commonly used illicit drugs. This comes after the ACT Health Minister reportedly boasted to a room full of activists at Labor's National Conference about how Canberra's Labor Greens government was able to quietly but quickly decriminalise illicit drugs. Does the federal government support their ACT Labor government colleagues' plan to decriminalise hard drugs, including methamphetamine, heroin and cocaine?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Watt.
Thanks, Senator Patterson. Clearly, the question that you're asking is a question for the ACT, over which it has no over which the federal government has no responsibility. So I don't know why we're using the federal parliament to ask questions about a territory government and its decisions. Senator Patterson, I know it's a while since you've been able to ask a question in your portfolio, but I would have thought there are other issues that are clearly within the province of the federal government in home affairs that would be something that we clearly have responsibility for. So it's a little odd that the only question we're receiving in the home affairs area is something that is the decision of the territory government.
Minister Watt, please resume your seat. Senator Patterson.
On direct relevance, Madam President, two agencies in the Home Affairs portfolio, the Australian Border Force and the Australian Federal Police, have publicly commented about their concerns about this development.
Minister Watt, please continue.
Well, as I say, President, this is a decision that's been made by the ACT government. I know Senator Canavan wanted to have a Senate inquiry and a private senator's bill about another decision that was made by the territory government. What we're focusing on are matters that are decisions of the federal government, including in the Home Affairs portfolio, strengthening our national security. That's what we're focused on, rather than the decisions that territory governments make. Of course, the AFP are entitled to their view, but as I say, our focus when it comes to the Home Affairs portfolio is ensuring our national security is strong, is ensuring that we fix up the complete mess around cybersecurity that was left by the former government. They're the issues that we're really focused on in the Home Affairs portfolio. I know Minister O'Neill has also been working closely with Minister Giles, the Immigration Minister, about the migration review, another issue that was a complete mess when the former government lost office. We've been tackling the backlog of visa applications, which was up to 1 million when we took office. They're the issues that we've been very focused on in the Home Affairs portfolio.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Patterson, for supplementary.
Thank you, Madam President. Perhaps the Minister's getting the answer now from his colleague. What is the government's plan to ensure this loophole isn't exploited by organised crime groups operating across Australia after the Australian Federal Police warned that changes will lure recreational drug users into Canberra and spark an increase in drug-related deaths? What impact will these laws have on other jurisdictions, for example, New South Wales?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Watt.
Well, thank you, Senator Patterson. Of course, it is important to recognise that the changes the ACT have made have been in relation to small quantities of these substances for personal consumption.
Senator Cash. Senator Cash.
Senator Cash, you're calling someone a disgrace.
Minister Watt.
You are calling someone a disgrace.
Minister Watt, resume your seat. Senator Cash. Senator Cash, I request that you withdraw that comment.
I withdraw.
Thank you, Senator Cash, and I would ask that you listen in silence. Minister Watt, please continue.
But the point remains, Senator Patterson, that the issues you're asking questions about relate to decisions that were made by the ACT government. They would be entirely appropriate questions to put to the ACT government. I know the Liberal Party does have a handful of members of the ACT Assembly, and they would be questions best put to the ACT government. We, of course, take advice from our agencies about these matters, but we've got enough to do cleaning up the backlog of visa applications, cleaning up the mess of a migration system, cleaning up the mess of a cybersecurity system that were all left to us by your government in the Home Affairs portfolio. That's our key focus.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Patterson, second supplementary.
Thank you, Madam President. Interesting the Minister doesn't think the illegal importation of hard drugs internationally is a matter for the federal government. A spokesman for the Minister for Home Affairs said in response to this issue, state and territory laws are a matter for those state and territories. Is the government abrogating its responsibility for combating illicit drugs impacting our communities?
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Minister Watt.
No, I mean, that is just absurd. Of course we are not abrogating our responsibilities, because our responsibility does relate, as the federal government, to the importation of these drugs from overseas. And we are resourcing the Australian Border Force and other agencies to do that. That is, of course, not what the focus of the ACT legislation is about. To argue that laws made by a territory government relating to personal consumption of drugs are the same as organised crime importing large substances of drugs from overseas, to argue that they're the same thing is complete nonsense. So, as I say, we'll keep focusing on fixing the various messes you left us behind in the Home Affairs portfolio, and we'll leave it to the ACT government to do their bit.